Hey, Ultra family, Justin Too here, your host today of the Ultra Cycling Show. Thanks for joining us for another sprint round race report, this time with Flora Yan, who won first place in the female 24-hour standard category at Bessies Creek 24 in Texas. She rode 400 miles, and so she's now a RAAM qualified racer. Thanks for joining me on the show today, and well done, Flora.
Thanks, Justin, for inviting me, and I'm super glad and happy to chat with everyone today. Yeah, Bessies Creek 24 was a great race, and I absolutely enjoyed my time doing it.
Oh, yeah. And especially with those results, super impressive, incredible job. Well, Flora, let's get started with the sprint round race report. It's a fun series of interesting questions where you'll be challenged to answer each one within a set time limit ranging from 15 seconds to 60 seconds. And don't worry, Flora, you won't be disqualified for going over the time limit. So let's get rolling with your very first question. Who are you in a nutshell? Tell us your name, your age, location, and occupation.
Sure. My name is Flora Yan. I'm 25 years old. Right now, I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I'm currently a fourth-year medical student at UT Southwestern in Dallas.
Nice. Wow. How do you find the time to do all the ultra cycling amongst that? That's incredible. Great
Well,
work.
fourth year allows you some time in between interviews and things like that. So I had a little bit of time to do that. So
Awesome. All right. Next question. Describe the event with just one word.
I'd have to say it was epic. Epic is my word of choice. So
Yeah, as are most ultra cycling events, right?
yes.
All right. So why did you choose this event?
I wanted to do something epic, I guess, before I start my residency in July. And this
Mm,
course was in Houston, Texas. It was pretty close to me and just a beautiful course in terms of the ease and logistics. So I
hmm.
thought would be a perfect event for me.
Yeah, awesome. Definitely is nearby where you live, at least currently as a med student. Okay, how did you feel on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd have to say, the first hour I was feeling all tense. Second hour, maybe a 9. 2 or 3 a.m., it dropped down to like a 1 or maybe a 2. And then when the sun came back out, I was about like at a 6 or 7. So it varied throughout the 24
Mm,
hours for sure.
yeah, it was a lot of ups and downs in ultra cycling, but well done there. Okay, so what was your goal versus your actual result?
Funny story. First off, I was just wanting to finish the 24 hours. That was simply just my goal. And then halfway
Mm,
through, I thought my friend and I were thinking, okay, I could beat the course record, which was 375. And then
huh,
sort of two-thirds of the way through, I realized, I could actually break 400 miles. So 400 became my
wow,
new goal. As the day
nice.
went by.
Nice, and you achieved that. Sweet victory. Well
Yes,
done.
yeah, just on the hair of my yeah, the skin of my teeth really. I was super close not to getting 400, but yeah, I'm glad I did for sure.
Yeah. Kept you on your toes the whole ride. All right, how much time did you spend off the saddle?
I think actually it was about an hour and a half. I really tried to limit my breaks to maybe max 10 minutes. I actually tried
Hmm,
sleeping in the middle of the night, but I actually got pretty cold, so I
hmm.
I ditched that and I just kept riding.
Fascinating. Wow, incredible. Okay, so describe the course for us.
So it was around a 14-mile loop. The way out, it hit this slight uphill, and then we turned right onto sort of a service road. The whole course was
Mm,
pretty flat. There's some rises, but nothing quite major.
hmm.
And within the course itself, there would have been about one, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7 turns or so. So nothing too
Mm,
complicated. The neat thing about it was that after each lap, there's this one area where we sort of recorded our lap. So we'd slow down,
mm.
yell out our number to make sure they counted us for that lap, and then we'd resume back on the course. So
Hmm.
every lap we had the opportunity to see our if you had someone in the pit helping you. So my friend Chance was in the pit helping me
Yeah.
every lap. I'd try to say something funny or he'd give me words of encouragement. So that was nice.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I gotta keep it fun. Ultra cycling isn't all hard work and no fun. All right. So what time did you start your event?
Actually, it started at 7 p.m. So 7 p.m.
Hmm.
Friday evening to 7 p.m. Saturday evening.
Wow. Yeah, that's a late start. Almost time for bed already.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What was your average power and how about your max power?
My average power was around 140 or 130, if I remember correctly. My max
Mhm.
probably might have been around 500. A couple of times I just stood in the saddle just to sort of stretch and things like that. So yeah,
Nice.
that's around like zone two-ish for me.
That's awesome. That's cool. And I saw on your shirt there as you were kind of standing up to show us, what does it read there? Does it say human powered?
Oh yes, it says yeah, it says human
Nice.
powered. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
one of my favorite shirts. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I love that. That's so true, especially for us ultra cyclists. All right. How about
Yes.
your max and average speed?
So my moving average speed was 17.8, and I think if I calculated that over 24 hours instead, it was like 16.8 or something like that. My
Hmm,
max may have been around 30 or something like that on a downhill.
nice. Yeah. Got to move fast in order to get that 400 miles. So well done there. Okay. How about
Thanks.
your max and average cadence? Are you a high or low cadence rider?
I usually tend to sort of mash actually, so I think my average
Hmm.
cadence was in the low 80s, maybe 82 or 83. I do try to spin up, but sometimes I can't help myself. My max may have been 110 or so, nothing crazy.
Fascinating. I mean, in the 80s, that seems pretty high for a lot of people that I've spoken with. But I
Oh,
guess for
really?
you as
Oh,
a
okay.
trained crit racer, I'm sure a lot of your competitors are training with much higher cadences, and I'm sure you are also in those races. All right, next question. What was your average and max heart rate?
My average heart rate was around 130 as well. I think my max was maybe 170. Sometime during
Hmm.
the first lap. The first four laps, I was going pretty too quick. I think my average heart rate was like around 160, and then I really needed to tone it down to last 24
Yeah.
hours. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, glad you were able to find a good pacing there at the end. Okay, how many
yeah.
calories did you burn and how many did you eat?
So in terms of calories I burn, I don't think this is exact, but I think around 10,000 or so,
Mhm.
just 24 hours and, a certain number of calories per hour. And I think I ate around 6,000 or 7,000 or so. I try to eat, every lap, a bar and an energy gel. Sometimes I eat
Mm.
more and sometimes I eat less. So
Yeah, always tough to get those calories in, but sounds like you were able to do enough to get you across the finish line. Okay, awkward question. How many toilet breaks did you end up taking?
actually, I took around 5 or 6. I was telling my friend Chance, like, man, I have to use the restroom a lot. But then he was saying, like, well, in a normal day, how often do you go to the restroom? It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I go pretty often, I guess. So, plus, I kept just drinking a lot of water and like energy drinks, and it's all
Mhm.
just a diuretic. And I was like, okay, can't help it.
Yeah, so true. Well, that doesn't sound too bad for 24 hours. Well done. Okay, how many sleep breaks did you take? Any of them?
So I did try one around 2 or 3 a.m. because that's when I was feeling, when you asked me on 1 to 10 how I was feeling, and it was like 1. I tried to
Mm.
sleep then. I made it about 5 minutes before I started shivering, and
Oh
then
my
I thought,
goodness.
like, I just had so much adrenaline, I just decided to keep going.
Yeah. Nice. Well, at least your legs got a little break, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, how did your speed and power profile look throughout the event?
Yeah, so funny story. Those first 4 laps, I would say that would be the first round, 60 miles. I averaged like 20.5 or something like that, 20, and my power was around 180, which is like a zone
Hmm.
3 for me. And I thought like, I probably should slow down. So after that, I just kind of try to maintain a zone 2 throughout the rest of it.
Nice. Well done. Which bicycles did you end up using for this event?
Yeah, so I have a Trek Madone. It's an
Nice.
SL6, I think. So I use that actually, and I just use like 50 millimeter wheels on there. And I just put clip-ons. I do have a time trial bike, but
Hmm.
this is my first time doing 24 hours, so I thought the road bike with clip-ons might be a little bit more comfortable for me over this
Yeah.
long of a time.
Yeah, totally. Wow. I can't believe it was your first 24-hour event and you achieved such a great result. Fantastic job.
Yeah, thank you so
Okay.
much.
What gearing did you use on this bike?
So I have a semi-compact on the front. I have a 5236, and on the back I have 1128. I think I was mainly in my
Hmm.
big 3 or 4, big ring and 3 or 4 in the back.
Right.
That's usually kind of the standard I run on, just training and racing and everyday stuff. So
Nice. And you do a lot of racing, so I'm sure you've got things really nicely dialed in for you. Okay, so what size tire and tire pressure did you run with?
I run 25s actually. In tire pressure, I usually go with around 100 psi.
Nice. All right. Pretty popular. I love that setup as well. How many sets of clothing did you end up using for this event?
I actually used the same jersey. I switched out bib shorts about halfway because I just felt
Hmm.
like I just needed a new chamois after that length of time. I could have probably
Yeah.
done with the switch of jersey. Now that I think about it, I just was like a little bit
Hmm.
too lazy or trying to save time or something like that. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was tough to juggle what you should do, especially in the heat of the moment. Okay, what was your overall race strategy?
I felt like the most important thing for me was to just keep the nutrition up, and just keep motivated. So I think just regulating my intake and especially regulating my caffeine as well. I try to make sure I
Hmm,
would not take too much at one time. In
right.
terms of like my mental game, I just thought, just keep pushing, and I'd separate it out into 4-hour blocks in terms
Hmm,
of how I would compartmentalize the 24 hours. Halfway
right.
through, when when kind of dawn hit, I thought of it as like a new day, a whole new race. So that was a good sort of mental
Nice.
reset for me. So
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, very methodical. I guess we wouldn't expect anything different from a med student. Okay, what did you use for nutrition? You kind of mentioned some things, but snacks, food, hydration?
yeah, so mainly for hydration, I used a lot of Noon, and
Hmm,
water. And then I also made this mix of like dextrose and it was like dextrose and lemon and also some
huh.
salt, just like a homemade sort of electrolyte thing. In terms of
Nice.
snacks and food, I also drink a lot of Red Bull and Coke. Snacks,
Wow.
I eat a lot of fig bars. Like that's been my go-to for these endurance things, I realized. Just like
Huh.
the little fig bars from the store
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
get, just because they're pretty
Nice.
quick for sugar. In the future, I might try mainly more drink-based mixes for calories instead of just Noon. I think that might be the way to
Hmm.
go for the future.
Yeah, nice. All right, a bonus question or two. What flavor of the fig bars do you like?
Oh, I think is it raspberry? I like the
Hmm,
raspberry one. Yeah.
nice. Okay. Yeah, yeah. A little tartness. Now, the Red Bull bonus comment here. I'm not sure how popular that is amongst ultra cyclists. I mean, sounds like it would be fitting, especially for a multi-day race, but it definitely sounds fitting for a med school student. Would you agree?
Yes, actually, I try not to drink too much Red Bull, but sometimes, I just can't help myself. Just got to get through the day. It's either that or coffee, and I'm
Yeah.
unfortunately kind of addicted to both. More coffee more so than Red Bull. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's always good to get a little caffeine boost there.
Yeah, totally. All right, awesome. Okay, who was your support crew for this event?
So my friend Chance, he was actually going to do the race as well. He was
Hmm.
going to do the 12-hour, and then he hadn't been riding, unfortunately, and decided not to do it. So then he just stayed to help me out. So
Hmm.
he's been my friend since college, and he's helped me out in a big way. And he yeah,
Hmm.
helped me with the food and kind of kept me motivated. So yeah, I owe a lot to Chance actually.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Chance. All right, what was the most difficult segment or time during this event for you?
I would say around 2 or 3. I keep referencing this terrible hour, but 2 to 3 a.m. I just
Yeah.
really had a hard time. I just kept thinking like, wow, this is like I felt like I was crawling through the darkness, and maybe I was like kind of half asleep. The last
Yeah.
lap also too was quite painful. I just felt like everything hurt, and I was just trying to break
Mm.
400. So that last lap
Mhm.
was stressful for me.
Yeah, definitely. Those witching hours will definitely get you, but you made it through. Great job. Okay, what was the most boring segment of the 24 hours?
The most boring segment, um, I would say maybe around 11 a.m. of the next day, because around 7 I was super pumped because I thought like, wow, the sun is up, everything is great. And then that excitement
Uh,
only lasted so long until I realized I had like 12 more hours to ride. So
oh my
after I
goodness.
went, after I kind of came down from that high, I thought like, okay, now it's back to
Yeah.
business as usual.
Yeah, those little things will keep you going. Okay, what was the most enjoyable segment of the ride?
I would have to say, either the beginning, just because I was super pumped, had so much energy, and I felt really
Mm,
strong because I felt like I was averaging really well. That was exciting, and that too was when I saw more of other people from a distance, so it was kind of
mm,
nice to sort of pace myself. I think once people started taking their like actual breaks, everything sort of broke apart. So the first
mm.
4 hours first 4 hours or so were the most enjoyable for me.
Yeah, I can imagine for a crit racer. Okay, what kept you motivated during this whole 24-hour long slog of a ride?
Yeah, I think about that whole compartmentalizing thing I was talking about before, and just having a
Mm,
support crew, having Chance there, every lap just to say something or count down the laps, or he'd sort of say like, "Oh, you're doing better. Oh, that was a really
mm,
terrible lap," and I'll say like, oh, "Okay, thanks, Chance." But just having him there and just wanting to be able to finish and give myself a pat on the back at the end of the day. That
mm.
was enough motivation for me.
Nice. That's awesome. I mean, for your first 24-hour event, you did great all around. Okay, how about any unexpected situations during this time?
I would say, nothing too crazy. I had to reapply chamois cream quite often. It might be too much
Huh.
information, but it was a real thing. After 12, 24 hours, it's like not super comfortable. So that was kind of unexpected because I hadn't ridden for that
Mm.
long. Maybe
Wow.
another unexpected situation. Um, yeah, I would say that would be a big one. Fortunately, I
Mm.
didn't have any problems with traffic or anything like that. So
Hmm.
I'm glad I didn't have any other sort of run-ins.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Yeah, a lot of issues arise or can arise during very long distances and duration. So glad you were able to work your way through that, especially on your first 24-hour event. All right. What lessons did you learn? Anything that you would change for the next time around if you were to do this event again?
I would say the days leading up to the event, I had some school stuff going on and some work stuff, so I could have optimized that better, could have optimized my sleep better. I drove in quite literally the hours prior to me starting. So for me, I definitely could
Oh,
have
wow.
just, rested before, like just, just sensibly rested. I think also too, in terms of nutrition, one of my friends, she's super into the ultra distance thing too. And I asked her,
Hmm.
for some advice. Her name's Christy. You might know her, Justin, actually. And she told me she
Uh-huh.
uses more of a drink based sort of nutrition plan. So I think I might
Yeah.
try different nutritional sort of choices, and also just sort of maybe even trying a time trial bike if I feel comfortable for doing it that long. I think I could go a bit
Hmm.
faster if I can sort of improve core strength and
Yeah.
get my flexibility down.
Wow. A lot to look forward to in the years ahead for Flora Yan. We'll be watching closely. And I'm not sure that I do know the Christy you're mentioning, but as a side note, my wife's name is Christy.
Oh, really?
So I know
Oh,
that one.
yes, yes.
All right, next question I have for you here. How long did it take you to recover afterwards? Were there any injuries to report of?
No injuries. No, I was just pretty sore. I think the next day, so this was in Houston. So the next day,
Hmm,
um, I decided to go to Galveston and hang out on the beach a little bit. So,
nice.
yeah, the next 2 days I literally just sat on the beach because it was the start of my spring break. So I took
Sweet.
it pretty easy those 2 days, and I think on the race ended on Saturday evening. So I think on Tuesday
Hmm.
I went for a jog and decided I should be a be exercise again. So a couple of days really.
Wow,
Um,
impressive. Very well done. That's so awesome. Okay, what tips do you have for others who are interested in participating in this event?
I would say just don't be afraid to try it. I am super new to this ultra distance stuff, but I kind of just put your best foot forward and try to
Hmm,
prepare in terms of food and have a good attitude during the whole time. And I think you can't really go wrong. Have a good support crew, have a person there for you to help you out is I think pretty key as well. And
hmm,
in terms of training, make sure you're able to go, the distance or maybe a part of the distance. And I think having like a good, solid aerobic base and like a solid FTP will sort of help you
hmm.
sustain those longer efforts.
Yeah, a lot packed into that. Thanks for your words of wisdom. Very true. It is also that ultra cycling is very much a team sport, so you need a good support crew, and you had that with your friend Chase. All right, what's ahead? What's your next event?
I'm not quite sure in terms of the ultra distance. I would love to, try out another 24, another 12. I'll have to look at the
Hmm,
calendar. More acutely, I would say the crits have started back up, so I might try that.
nice.
And then I have about 2 months before I start residency, so hopefully I can get
Wow.
any sort of racing in before I have
Yeah.
to start that.
Wow, very exciting. Glad you were able to get this event in. Okay, anything else that you'd like to share with folks at home?
You know, I would say my biggest takeaway from ultra cycling has been um, just like rediscovering my love of just riding my bike. Like I
Hmm,
can't emphasize that enough to myself. I think sometimes you just get so wrapped up in the numbers, like FTP, watts
hmm,
per kilogram, what's my max power, how well can I sprint? But for me, I just remember why I love just pedaling and being out there and
hmm.
just riding my bike. So yeah, I just love the ultra cycling for that. And I'm sure, RAAM people or people going on these like beautiful routes, I just imagine them just looking at the scenery the whole time thinking like, wow, this is such a great place to be right now. So that's what ultra cycling has meant to me in the short time that I've been able to participate.
That's so cool, Flora. Yeah, I love that also. There's a lot to love about ultra cycling. Definitely is different, not as cutthroat or competitive until you make it that. And I'm sure somebody like you would. And you already competed at a pretty high level here, winning first place in this event. So Flora, well done on Bessies Creek 24, first place female finisher in the standard category. And it's been such a pleasure being able to record this race report with you and to be able to capture it. I hope it'll keep you motivated and encouraged during these last 2 weeks of your program there in medical school. And then as you begin your residency, hope to see you out on the course of another ultra event soon.
Yeah, most definitely. It was so nice chatting with you, Justin, and thank you for letting me share my experiences of the 24-hour challenge. I definitely hope to continue on riding and racing, and definitely look forward to watching the ultra cycling show, of course, and to
Yeah,
perhaps
all
see you
right.
in the future as well.
Yeah, you'll need something to listen to and watch while you're, working hard there in residency. So I hope
Yes.
we can continue to infect you with the ultra cycling bug, and it'll stick with you for many years to come. Would love to see you in many other events, other 24-hour time trials, but also the race across America someday, since you are RAAM qualified now. But until next time, Flora, take care of yourself.
Yeah, thanks so much. You too, Justin.
Until next episode, keep spinning ultra.